Welcome back to the sea after a long extended sickness. I'm sort of back, and I want to thank a couple people who really helped the brother out. First, starting out with Analogue Realities. You sent me a "This is for fun" donation of unsubstantial gratitude. I humbly thank you more than possible. You didn't have to do that, but it is more than greatly appreciated. So Analogue Realities, thank you, and everybody who's ever donated a single penny to me. It is more than appreciated beyond recognition. There are not words for any level of support. Which leads me to this box. This is from Mr. Underwood. That's a great, last name. Like you're from a vintage Western movie. Okay, so the address labels have been removed for privacy, but it says powered by Amiga. So first off, Mr. Underwood, I thank you. And there's a note inside that says, Dr. Chris, I hope these parts are of use to you. I was sorting through some Amiga stuff to make room for some more, as a fellow Amiga hoarder does. Included in this box are a PLCC extractor from Heiko for those extra crusty Agnes chips, a PiStorm 500 2000 Rev board, RGB to HDMI Amiga 2000 slot card, Raspberry Pi Zero for the RGB to HDMI, sorry no pin header, no problem, a Super Denise DIP to PLCC adapter for the 500 2000. That allows you to use the A600's Denise PLCC in a DIP socket. Amiga Kit Zorro RAM A2000 8 meg Zorro card, wow. And a brand new Intel D27256 EEPROMs I ganked from work. 4x4 72-pin SIM RAM. Regards, Mr. Wiretap. Written on Final Writer on Amiga 4 x86 and ESXi. Thank you for that, and thank you for these bits. And of course there's updates to be done because I haven't been down here in a long time. Wow, this is like top dog. Heiko. PLCC. She's some scientific mofo. Neat. Got the grippy pins. Hope and a prayer. Doesn't look like it will slip as easy because it is made of metal. Not two loose arms grabbing at a hope and a prayer. Thank you so much for that. She's going right in the toolbox. Up next are some 72-pin SIMs. Perfect for your Amiga 4000. 4 meg, 4 meg, 4 meg, and 4 meg in the NEC variety. And thank you for these so much. Always going through RAM on these boards. Next up is a complete A2000 board with the special cable dude and the button for the RGB to HDMI for an Amiga 2000. Sitting here like this. You can get these boards made now from various resellers, and you just jumper at Denise or Super Denise. So we'll be tossing that in a 2000 repair. And a Pi Zero 1.3. I'll put that in this bag. Thank you so much for all of these bits. They're going to come in handy. Amiga Kit Zorro RAM board. It's an 8 meg RAM board for your A2000. Zorro 2 RAM. You can jumper it from 4, 5.5, or 8 meg. And it's especially labeled this side towards the front of the Amiga. So you'd put her in that way, not that way, and blow up your stuff. Thank you so much for that. I greatly appreciate it. And we have a DIP, or PLCC to DIP Denise adapter for your OCS ECS machines in the A2000 500 variety. That's really cool if you can't find yourself a Denise. And we have 3 of these Intel tiny ROMs that I could use for like a 2630 or a early GVP card to burn like Guru ROM or something like that. And I thank you all so much for this and your kindness in donations and support of this old fat guy's channel. I'm sorry I've been out of it for a little bit. I'm still keeping you energized with content because of my filming schedule and the amount of stuff that I do. And I'm sorry I look like I washed ashore. We had an incident at work that's consumed my life post-illness. So, again, thank you all very much. Back to the sea. What do we got on the show today? Well, I'm rocking a vintage GVP shirt. That's pretty cool, huh? Where did you get that? I got this from Rob and Peter from GVP. Met them at the old VCF East. Haven't talked in a while. And they hooked me up with 2 shirts. I might have showed them, but here you go. So, Rob, Peter, thank you very much. What's on the show today? Today, a big box comes from Mr. Tom in Texas. And a lot of packing material, and a this, and a this, and this, and inside, deep down, there's bags, and this. Oh my! I would throw the box like I normally do with the crash down, but it's too heavy. It's on this thing. Okay. Also inside, Mr. Kevin G. from Michigan sent me a box that, I can't find the letter opener. This just showed up. I have to check my emails because I've been so backlogged lately with my regular job and life. Hi, Dr. Chris. I've been looking through all my stuff and found a Commodore 3070 Terminator that came with a 3070 tape drive. I thought that it was in the box when I sent it to you. So I'm sending it along with a Super DMAC and the SCSI chip I took out of my 3000s. The chips I mentioned in an email I sent to you, guess I'll read it, sorry. So you might as well have them so they can help out with another repair. I did see the video you did on my A3000 repairs, and I guess I got lucky with some of my solder mistakes. I did not realize what a bad solder job I did on motherboard until I watched your video. I used a heated desolder tool for most of the removals, but not all of them. I'm just glad that you were able to fix my mistakes. I plan on selling 1 or more Amigas, probably with a monitor, since I am satisfied they're in perfect working order. I think the prices I see on eBay are way too high, so if you know of anyone looking for an Amiga, let them know about me and give them my details if you want. I'll close it for now and keep watching your videos and contributing to your cause. Thank you for all the help, Mr. Kevin G. in Michigan. Signature and all. Very nice. Thank you, Kevin, for this. I thought this was a mistake. Not a Terminator. It's the Commodore Terminator. You terminated. That goes on the back of the 3070. And inside of here is a Western Digital and a Retro Rewind bag with a Super DMAC something in there. I'm going to check it because that's got to be the original 02 that was in his Amiga originally. And the 04 was his upgraded one from when I looked at that. And yes, Super DMAC 02. Thank you so much. These are hard to get, and when I need them, I don't have them. But now, with these being $100, why look for the real chips anymore? Right? But I thank you greatly, and thank you very much for the Terminator. Dear Chris, here's my Amiga 2000 motherboard. Thank you for taking a look at it. I purchased it. Windows Update. I purchased it and 10 static bags to send with it. You can have the other 9. I also sent you an Amigan, wait a minute, an Amigen that I could never use. If you can use it, awesome. If not, sell it or give it away. I don't sell things. Also included a few goodies for quick energy, or for what I use them for. Eating my feelings. Cocaine? So if you need me, call, text, address, phone number. If you need any money, I can send it. Yeah, I need about $380,000 to have nothing. Again, thank you for looking at it, and thank you for what you do, Mr. Tom. So, the 4000 booted. Love that machine. I swap them out from time to time. I'll start showing the ones that I use. I swap them out with the machines on the big table, like the purple Amiga and the Mediator and everything else. Okay, this box says processors. Let's see what's in this bag first. Please don't be a rev4. Please don't be a rev4. Please, son of a bitch. Alright. So we have a rev4 Amiga 2000 King of the board flex, king of the battery, king of the green everything. It is green as a pickle in here. Look at this. All right, you can see the wonderful hue of holy God right here. CPU's out. She's green, 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 green up to here. Just a little bit of damage. There's some water or something. Oh, you can't see that. Just a little bit of damage. There's some water or some human teenager material up here. This looks like a 1.3/204 ROM switcher with some wild CIA and Gary address lines. 8370 512K Amiga Agnes. Amiga Agnes? Yeah. 8370 Agnes. That sucks. So we're going to fix this. She's getting an upgrade, if I have them, to the 8372A 1 meg. So we can get this to 1 meg if this 1 meg works. It comes with 1 meg on the board, but you got a crappy Agnes. No big deal. It doesn't work, I guess. I don't know what's wrong with it. What's the reason I'm looking at it? Let me look at some emails and see what we got. What do we have with this Amiga? It just says thanks for looking at it. Here's my A2000. His dad gave him 17 years ago, so just yesterday. He gifted my brother and myself Amiga 1000s in the late 80s to introduce us to computers. Awesome. We traded it and used it for games, music, and this and that. His first wife bought a PC. That's why he's got a second wife now. She bought a PC. Never knew about the battery stuff that could kill it. I feel real guilty about not taking care of it. When I came across your channel and started watching it, I watched 2 videos on my lunch at work. I really enjoy watching you work on things. Thanks. I started cleaning a little, took the battery out, but I only dabbled with electronics. I'm afraid to do any more damage than I could, so I got a 3-pack of fiberglass pens to start stripping some gunk off the board. That's what that stuff is. It's probably wash. Hope it's not vinegar. I put some vinegar and IPA on the bad portions and cleaned them off with deoxit. I did not have a bronze brush. The midget eraser was gently coaxed out of the socket when I tried to clean it. I bought another 6810 on eBay to try in the slot, but I haven't yet. Okay, so that's got to be what is in here. This says processor. Let's take a peek. What's in here? This is probably, this socket's green. This is green. This is a midget racer. DIP 68 with an FPU. She's a 16 economy mode. So yeah, pretty cool. 68881, I believe. 881 RC12, 12 megahertzes. Sits in here like this. What is this? Is this a Gen lock? Oh, it's a Gen lock. Check that out. It's got your RGB pass through. Bip, bip. Your video in, your video out, and the screws that hold this long rod all the way through. Real long one, ladies. You just push it in there and screw it in to your RGB port, like it would go here. And you could hook your RGB through and you would have a Gen lock if you were doing video toaster stuff or whatever. That is really cool. The little midget racer is really cool. I haven't seen one of these in, I don't know, since the freaking 80s? Late 80s, early 90s? Wow, look at that. A gold processor. He bought it off eBooger, and I think it's a 68010. Not that that's going to do anything. It makes you feel better, though. Kind of like when you give the sysinfo expand a tug. This is a MC68010 megahertz with anti-pry double-sided tape on it. We're going to replace the CPU socket because it's as green as Shrek. This socket, I'm going to try my best to get it messed down. Your acid ran all the way over here, all the way into the Girls of Fate, which is the 32 ladies that I do not like to party with. J300 is in power supply mode, so I'm going to go ahead and advance and move it to external tick because I will be using an ATX power supply with a converter wire. Where are you going, ADHD? You were just talking and totally turned the lane without your signal on. Upgrade the Agnes and make this a more usable, modern-ish Amiga. So, from a previous repair from Mr. Steve on the 4000 audio that may or may not have come out, I still got to fix him. I just been working like 300 hours every 2 weeks for over a month. It's been death. He donated an 8372A and a 68000. If that gold guy don't work, and an Amiga 1200 keyboard connector. So if your stuff don't work, we have an Agnes solution right here, 8372A, CSG, 1991, and a 68000 from Motorola, 68010. So there you go. If and when your stuff doesn't work. Can you tell where the acid damage is? Oh, Christmas.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
That's beautiful. We got a big booger burn right here too. What's up with that? Big booger burn. So when you're doing a repair on a 2000, rev4, 6, whatever, when you get to here and the land looks like total butt zombies, those dots, how they're all green and crusty, well, when they go through the bottom, they go right up to this girl. So a lot of them are ROM addressing. This is just obliterated. I'm going to break the spine of this socket. I'm just cracking the plastic ribs here, these center lines. I just crack them. I don't go all the way down the board, just like halfway, and give it a snip. That'll bust the socket out, or the center line out, and what I look for when I pop this free is the drag of how do you get your CPU out. Did you stick something in there and lift, or did you chubby checker and do the twist, or did you do it without damaging it? And minus the battery acid that ate all the lines in half, it looks pretty good. And we're going to add solder to these 68 pins. You've seen it 1,000 times, so I'm just going to skip to it being done, and that is going to allow me to extract the socket with the WepTools desoldering station. WepTools.com. Hey, I got a code from WepTools, CER10. Save 10% on your order. I wrote Wep and said, hey, I'm a fine purveyor of your products. They even posted some of my videos on their website. So you can check it out, WepTools.com, and look at my own videos when I was doing this stuff. So they offered a code, so I said, hell yeah, for you guys out there. I'm not paid or anything. This isn't a paid ad. They just offer a code. If you're interested in their tools that I rant and rave about so much, they're really good, okay? It's based out of Shenzhen, China, but they have offices all over the world. My stuff ships out of New Jersey in the USSA. I need to change the tip. The new WepTools line is flipping awesome. Watch how you change a tip. So these are precision tips. They're just a little bit tiny. Sometimes you like a tiny one. There's this M. You put it here and you just pull it and it comes out. Then it drops down in there because the tips are too small, and there you go. Now they have an O-ring on them. See the O-rings? That is how they're temperature sensed. To load a tip, you put it in here, you press it. No, you just stick it on this thing right here and push down and it loads it. Or you can put it in whatever hole you got. Hello, hello. Sometimes that's okay. Now, turn it on. You'll heat up so fast, it's not funny. It'll boot and you'll see a little line right here of the power going up right there. It's going to hold at 392 Fahrenheit or 200 degrees communist. Whatever you want. You can set the temperature you want it to sleep at. That way when you grab it, watch how fast it heats up. 836. That's a little too hot for me, but I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to do 830. 840. We'll do 840. That's hot as hell, but I need it because I got to get these old solder joints out. Once it detects the wand in the aluminum, there's my sponge. You didn't do the wet sponge thing. I know, I use it for solder tips. Alright, enough of annoyance of me yapping. Solder has been added. Don't look bad. No, look. It's trashed. And there's also a lifted wire on this resistor here. It's just a wire trace. It is literally underneath this resistor, and it's just hanging there. So I pulled all the resistors out because these girls are just ate up, and I know I'm going to be in here anyway. So I figured just pull them out, and then we'll deal with them when we get them back together. And just do the, geez whiz, listen to that, the chubby checker. Come on, baby, do the twist. I'm not digging. These are usually SIL turn pin slammed into a dip socket. Oh God.
Can I show you something?
I was just smiling.
They're just a lovely shade of swamp ass. The ROM socket, it is utterly destroyed. Look at the green in there. Half of her teeth are missing. She's leaking poo-poo. She literally got urinated on. Had a wet run. But yeah, that's great. That's great. The more I look at this, the worse it gets. I'm just gonna take some flux the living crap out of the whole line, and then I'm gonna braid it down. I don't know what's gonna be the status of this board, but right now it is effed. Got Mona's toothbrush. I dipped it in the toilet, wash it off. I always dip it in the toilet before I put it back in the toothbrush holder. That way she don't know. Just fill that socket up and just go to town on it. Alright, she's gonna need something harder than bronze. We're going full steel. God. Well, so much for that. Look at the, my word. Look at the shit coming out of that thing. You should wear gloves, Chris. You're going to get sick again. This isn't urine. This is just electrolytics. This is fine. Resistor packs are out. The area has been scrubbed. Now I have to do the dreaded pinouts. So I've printed out a copy of the 68000, and I've printed out a copy of the Amiga Kickstart ROM. I'm not worried about the signals. I'm just worried about putting check marks for where I need to test lines. So as usual, I'm going to get a multimeter, and I'm going to set it on the old beeps, which is continuity. Test your beeps so you know it's working before you start. Then I fired up Sprint Layout Viewer here on the old PC using the Sprint layout files based on a revision 6.2 that I have. The only difference is the RAM here is 8 chips versus the 32 of a 4X board. But what I do is I click Test over here and I go to pin 1, which is right here, and I click it. And then it lights up pink and blinks. I wish there was a way to make it not be pink. And then on the actual Amiga, I will then take pin 1, and then I need to look where it goes. It's the second ROM pin up from the right. And it's dead. Go figure. So that's one. But it goes to a resistor pack, and it's dead. Go figure. And why is it dead? Why would that be dead? Well, check this out. This pin goes to this resistor pack. As you can see where the tip of this pointer is, the entire ring is gone. So good thing I pulled that RP out. Now it's possible I could have maybe solder drug, but no, it's going to be a wire. I'm going to continue on. I will mark that pin as bad on my sheet so I know. I'll leave myself a note, and we just keep on trucking. So I'll grab a red marker. I do too. Green is good, red is bad. So I will mark it X, and I will say RP ring. So I know on the RP ring that's that. But am I done pin 1? No, I am not. Why? Because pin 1 also goes to this crusty ass CPU slot on the second pin. So I'll take pin 1 and I'll go, oh my god, it's there. U603. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. Got it. So from there, and the resistor pack that doesn't exist on this rev4, this side is good, this side is bad at the resistor pack, but it also continues on. So I can do the resistor pack here through that kickstart, and it works. I'm also going to go north here. Let me close this. There we go. Because I got to see where it's going. Oh boy, we're going to the odd CIA. Got it. It's also going somewhere else. Over here to the memory buffers, which are oddball 106, which will be backwards on this one. So there we go. So the Rev6 has all of its hex inverters, line drivers on the top. On the 4, there's 2 here and 2 sideways. So you have to bloop, and the chips are backwards on the Rev4. So pin 1 is to the left, while pin 1 is north on the Sprint. It's the same stuff, and you can use it if you just keep that in mind. Your signal destinations are going to be the same, minus the RAM. Now, the RAM will go to a RAM chip in the same signal. It's just there's only 8 of them on here versus 32 on here. So there's only a couple where 2 chips equal 1 on that. Get it? Got it? Live it, learn it, know it. Yeah! Alright, that's 1 pin. Yay, yay, yay. This takes me several hours. So it's 2:16 now on the old Omnibot clock, and I'll see you in a bit. 5:04 p.m. I have been sitting here for 3 hours, and it's mind-numbing sometimes just tracing out these things, and you get hot, and you gotta take a break, and you gotta go to the bathroom. And so anyway, I am almost done the CPU. I got about 10 or 15 pins left. But that don't mean nothing, because that's the 55 through 64, the other side of death on the CPU, the lower side down here. And then I got to do the kickstart ROM. Everything in between has been, it's just obliterated all in the middle. I had to sand down all of the dots that go to Agnes. There's stuff underneath and I have to bridge across, and there's a lot of stuff. This is just basically, the pinout is basically documenting all the crap that you gotta fix to find out what's bad and what's not. Because a lot of people just pull a socket out, put a socket in, and wonder why it doesn't work. The damage is about this big on here. It goes from the LS 157N mouse port clicky controller right up to Agnes, across the CPU bus, and down next to the clock resistors. It was a big, big moon. It's 5:30 p.m. and I spent probably not too long on this last one. We have a lot of red. There are 58 good, 10 bad. Now 10 meaning multiple destinations. Kickstart side, 35 good, 5 bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And I pinned out a 42 pin ROM because I'm dumb, but I just marked the bottom ones off. So I have 15 bad connections. Alright, look at this joy. You're thinking, wow, dude, that looks effed up. Yeah, number 1, resistor. Gone. These rings here on these resistor packs, they're just missing connections. Gone, like to the ring. The other side, gone. A lot of these circles are broken all the way. All the way, you can see where I've fiberglassed them off to find, like, there's a little break here. It happens, it's common. The dots, I've cleaned up the dots over here and did a beep beep test to them. They're looking a lot better. There's a big VCC rail Peter North all throughout this area, and luckily that's just big ground planed and power rail. And these are just surface scuzz. I can scratch through it, but I don't want to damage the solder mask any more than it already has been. So I've let this one sit for a while, and Rev4's always got the flex. It's coming down a little bit, but you can see how they just, yeah. I own a Rev4. It doesn't work. I don't feel like fixing my own stuff. Ain't that funny? Hello from the next day, and I busted out the Amiga 2000 Rev4 system schematics official documentation from Commodore. Today's interrupter is brought to us by Mr. Keith D in Canada. Has 2 dual G5s, and it says dual 2.0s with ATIs, MOS installed on 1 so far. Morph. And Mr. Kevin, somebody who climbs Mount Everest, is a subscriber to his channel. Great. Okay, back to the lecture at hand. This solder has flux in it. It's chip quick solder, SMD, whatever the heck. And it has bismuth in it. which is great because it helps with a low melting point. However, bismuth makes a lot of carbon, so you get a lot of soot in your solders, but it really works nice for some hippie shit.
Wow, man. That's some heavy shit, man.
These are Cambion sockets. Hard to find because Cambion went out of business. But they have a Captain tape on them, so you can't overfill or bleed the sides out. Important safety tip. 1202. 20 points repaired. Some of them I had to use a little bit of like a bridge wire. So right here is a bridge wire, and also right here is a little bridge wire. And then I was able to drag solder a couple things. I'm going to put a dot of hot glue on the long girls here. These I got as straight as I really could. There's a little tiny thin one here too. I did that in regular blue wire, but then I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to use poles. Since this is a rev4, I also got the Retrofriends VGA converter box. Energize. Blinky blink. That's the diagram blink of stink. This monitor, diagram's working by the way, you can't see anything because Amiga 2000, it's in PAL. I have mouse, that's good. What's system info look like? Okay, well, okay, one gold CPU. Diagram 121. It's a 68010 also. Alright, hit it. I really need a keyboard on here. This is working, but it's not working. It's working because it's a rev4 in my display. Serial niente. I did drop my cable on the floor again, so it's possible I screwed it up. But I haven't done any tests. We're going to do the experimental CIA tests. NTSC. Okay. NTSC. Okay. 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 Slow. That's because I'm on an external power supply. RQs. We got some weird shit. Anywho's, it's a GBS 8200 inside, and it comes with a DB23. You just put your monitor right into this pickle and plug in the DB23 to your machine. Extended chip mem test. This is not right. Alright, so we have some weirdness. Reset bus. We have a reset bus. That's diagram doing its thing. Testing, can't see the rest. Complete memory detection. 512K. Press a key to lock up. We got really weak ass audio. I'm turning this pickle off. Alright. I'm going to pull out some chips here. We got a Goofy Gary, we got a Krusty. None of this has been taken care of at all. So we're going to do the old Craigslist rebuild here. Using my chip puller, we're going to grab Denise and... Oh my goodness, listen to that. It sounds like my knees getting up. Oh, rev4s. I think the last time this chip was out was when Jeff Porter made it. Just replace that CA. Let's rebuild this. Rebuilt. Display is nice and crisp since rebuilding that. Audio's there, it's just weak. Memory test. Test detected chip RAM never works. Extended chip RAM test. It does not like this, and I can't see what the hell it's doing. Does it have memory errors? Probably. I hate these things.
Yeah, I bet you could use a cool one, huh?
Now you're talking.
Alright. Here we go. We're going to pull this Agnes out. and luber duber. So I'm going to luber first. Fill her up. Rub your finger around the outside of the hole to make sure it gets in there. Oh yeah, much better. It grips the chip fully. Alright. We'll massage Agnes here. Check our pins. And she's crusty. That'll prevent stuff from working and make weird things happen. Now if you don't have a PLCC extractor on an Amiga 2000, there's 2 holes under her body. You can stick a lead pencil through there. Don't shove a screwdriver in there, but a pencil, and then push, push, push opposite sides, and she'll pop right out. Graphics test. See how it looks weird? Forward flex. Yep, we're not done. We're not done. I didn't rebuild Gary. Rebuilt. Much better. Cool. But what's this weirdness? Is it this stupid CPU? When I try to go back, it locks up. Paula. Test. Passed all tests. Alright, let's go back to a CIA. That's 8520. Testing. Green. Testing the other CIA. Good. 5719. Gary. Test. F you, Gary.
Who is this Gary character?
Damn it. Let me order a Gary. So here is a replacement Gary. Or here's the original Gary. The replacement's in there from 88. She passes all tests. I'll hit her again. Passed all tests. So here's the replacement Gary. Going in the lubed socket. Put the other original CBM 5719 Gary from 1987 in there. Hit it again. Watch it work. Nope, failed 1 test. I had another one failed 9 tests. So, bye-bye, Gary. Bastard. Well, that was $34. And let's see what happens. Why does it hate this CPU so bad? I'm going to put a 68,000 in it. Man, just drop the spectral line. Alright, well, there went a $38 light bulb. Because it's not working. It's not working at all. How's the Agnes doing? Good. CPU. Kickstart ROM. No, RAM buffers. Alright. But memory. F you, memory. It's 9:05 p.m. So, I have been farting around with this thing forever with diagram. I took the Agnes out again. My 68,000 still in here. Get ready to do the kickstart swap. I pulled diagram out. And I noticed that C905 has been broken off. That's going to cause some boot issues. But this thing is so green, it got into the cables. So I'm going to pull the 204 ROM out because that allows me to boot external devices. I'm also going to remove the jumper from J301, so it's just DF2. Lubed Agnes. Oh, I did find some crusties on her socket, so I scrubbed it with the old bronze brush. And let's see what happens. I'm going to do a double mouse button here. Low, high. Hey, I don't have a thing plugged in. Well, there you go.
Mortimer, we're back.
Another Amiga's been saved. What are we at now? Whoa. What did that say? I don't know. 230 something? 323. So this will be 324. Amigas have been saved. But are we done? No. This is still in the GBS clone box. So I can only do 60 hertz. Even if I tell it switch to 50, it just doesn't do it because this doesn't permit. Anywho's, that kickstart works. There's a 1.3 which I'll return. Let's just do our memory test first because I'm sure she's 512 because it's got an 8370 Agnes in here. Yep, 1 meg of RAM, 512 chip, 512 slow. That's these 32 girls over here. If you have an 8372 Alpha, you can jumper this to the left, jumper this, and J500, and you will have a 1 meg machine in chip. The CSA Midget Racer. Now, is it going to blow up this machine after all that work I just did? Well, hot dog, 68020. Well, did it give me a memory? No, it does not. But that is freaking cool. CIAs, all good. Audio's there, but very weak. Video, looking strong. Checkerboard, alternating. Alright, memory. I'm just going to test all of it because it's only 1 meg and it goes by real quick. Hopefully these girls are okay. This little thing is amazing. That's cool. I'm going to leave it in there because that's pretty pimp. You'll notice it's not glitching out or freaking out again since I cleaned the Agnes socket. We need to test Zorro. So this thing comes to us from Mr. Wiretap on the old Discord. This is an Amiga kit for 5.5 Zorro. This edge towards front. Bad. It's not bad. So Zorro isn't working. Great. What could it be? One of the U600s? Most likely, because it's a rev4. These 6 girls right here are octobus transceivers with 3-state inputs. God. What they do is they take your arbitration from CPU to themselves or to the Zorro bus. And they barf back and forth instructions and address and data. And that's how your Zorro works. A blown resistor here at 905 that I have to figure out what it is. So what we're going to do is we'll go to the parts list in the front here. And we'll say capacitors. 245 through 261, 903, 906, 907. 903 through 906 is 100 picofarad ceramic axial. Yeah, totally cut. And there's a big scratch right across it. So we're going to heat that up and pull that up out of there. What's left of it. Alright, with that cap back in, we can hook all this junk back up. I was gifted a 1 meg Agnes here. Let's pull it out. See if it works in 512K mode first. Oh, well this is never going to work. This chip's not going to work. I know why it was gifted to me. Because it's missing a leg on the corner. There's a pin broken off. This goes into the trash. I'm not dealing with it. I have another one of my own. A372 Alpha. Amiga test kit. Alright. J500 needs to be cut. So what we're going to do is crash the machine, turn it off, get ourselves a razor 'em up knife. This is how you make an Amiga rev4 1 megabyte. How you doing? So in the center of your screen, there's this. And I'm left-handed, so I'll be in the way. So I'll try to do it backwards. So you can see. This thing we have to slice. Now I know that's sliced, but if you didn't, you could beep test it. And wow, you're thinking that's easy. No, then you gotta move this over to here and jumper that. That's it. Now you're 1 meg chip. Let's see. Memory 1 mega chip. So if you need to modify your Amiga 2000 rev4, slice J500, move J101 to the left, and put a jumper on J900. Right? Yep. And that's it. And you too can have 1 megabyte of chip RAM, which will allow me to run anything I want. The other Agnes had a broken leg, and I don't solder crap on that. Worried about the Zorro thing? Don't know. This is Chris interjecting from a couple days in the future. I forgot to enable the RAM on the Zorro. Remember when I was getting the bads on this card? Well, there was one wire on U604. Remember how I told you 604 is always a pain in the butt? One wire that was screwed up on the CPU riser crusty green socket that I can't get scraped off. So I made a bodge between the points, and that fixes the Zorro. And here you can see, right now I have it jumpered in 4 megs. So this is, I'll jumper it in 8 megs. Make sure it works in 8. And we go to memory now. We have 8 megabytes detected, and all is well in Zorro land. So now the Amiga is fully functional, and I will ship it back to Mr. Tom, and he will be enjoying it again immensely. Now back to the regularly scheduled quiz from the past. Today, and I am going to check the audio on this. I had some weirdness the other day with the audio being low, and I'm like, well, I gotta check the old voltages. As you know, the LF347 or TL086, whatever it is, compatible op amp is a 12 volt positive, 12 volt negative system. This being a rev4 is substantially different from all of the other changes in the Amiga 2000 line. Works on a positive and negative 12 volt voltages with a bunch of capacitors. Well, this, and a negative 12 down here somewhere. Filtering cap for your power supply. We're going to use a negative off of the center power pin here. That's the negative 12. This is the positive. It is negative 1.04 volts. Once again, negative 12, positive 12. Let's triple check the pin out of an LF347. As you can see here, pin 11 is negative voltage. This is positive voltage. You need both voltages to have sound on the Amiga 2000. Negative 12 volts. Correct. Pin 4 on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 1. That's supposed to be positive 12. Why is our sound reduced? Because we don't have any power. Now I could inject power right into this chip and see if sound works. You can do that with a jumper wire off the 12 volt line. We could even check my power supply off of the ground of the unit to see what we're at. So this is a 5 volt, as you can see right here on the screen. 5 volt. This is a 12. No, I don't know what these colors are. That's 12. Negative 12. 5 volt. And a tick. So my power supply is good. It's an ATX repinned. AmigaKit.com shop, whatever it is, Amiga store, Amiga Kit store, and it has they have all this, the converters for these things. One of 3 things: we can check the cap voltages on these girls right here and see what we're getting. I don't think it matters on this, but there we go. We are getting 0.98 volts out of sound on the positive and negative voltage. We're getting 0.88 negative voltage out of the capacitors. There is no sound playing. And the negative 12 is also used on the test pins up here for the Zorros, which you saw we had problems with earlier. Alright, we don't have 12 volts to the op amp. So, now this is our positive. It comes from cap C222 right here. Let's see what its voltage is. 12 volts. So I have 12 volts positive from this cap. But here I don't. I have negative. So it runs around here. The act of moving that capacitor, I have now 12 volts positive. What did I do? I moved that capacitor. Okay. Sound is fixed. Negative voltage on the positive of the op amp. What we're going to do now that we're fixed, I'm glad it was something simple. We got Zorro, we got audio, we got Amiga, we got floppy drives, we got video, we got a working machine. Looks like we got a cold solder bust on the 4th pin. 1, 2, 3. Son of a biscuit. Look at this. See that big ring of missing in action? Yeah. And this one's your 12 volt. Negative, positive. I was wiggling shit. And, yeah. Radio Shack Ultimate Solder from 1968. No shit. And, yeah. Rosin Light Duty 6040 lead tin. 60% lead. So it's really good for your health. So breathe in the smoke deeply. We're going to touch this up here. Just give it a nice fattening. We're just going to do them all. Just touch them up. You notice this solder doesn't blacken out because it doesn't have the bismuth that my other solders have. This is old school lead solder. So I don't have to have my temperature 5 million degrees. I can just... We've fattened up our tips with the solder. I'm also gonna just do the same for the capacitors here. 12 volts. Audio will be fine. Great. Cold solder joints. How did I fix it? What happened? Two things. Number one, cold solder joints on the main power rail. You want to check for your power rail, the main plug dude. This is the audio section. Pin 4 is 12 volt positive. Pin 11, 12 volt negative. So you saw a couple minutes ago we were testing the negative and positive voltages here. When I turned the Amiga on, this was being pulled down to 0.8 or very small voltages. So I started back tracing across this ceramic. I had it, or I didn't have it, I didn't have it, I didn't have it, and then all of a sudden I had it. So we tightened up this cap, we reflowed it. I actually pulled on it to measure it, and that recreated the bond. Anyway, backfilled that, and it all works. Now, what I did here on the main power rail, pin 4 is my positive 12, and it was missing half of its solder. You saw we just did that, plopped it in there, and then audio is fine. Another Amiga has been saved. So with your guys' help, I thank you very much for everyone who watches this channel, supports the old fat guy fixing these machines for free for you. Anyway, that's all I got for this one. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something.
Remember these words: make Amiga great again. Please help Dr. Chris continue his fight for as little as $1 a month or more. Thank you and Godspeed.
What do you know from funny, you bastard?